sky.
Blew it all sky high.
Hey, I
that song?
found a little fact today. A little fact there. Magnet and Steel. Was it Walter Egan?
Mm-hmm.
Written for Stevie Nicks. That was his crush. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard that recently somewhere. I was on some YouTube channel or something that I
did some shit. And Lindsay and Stevie both sang backup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're on. You can hear them singing on
Yeah.
it. Well, and you know that, and I'm sure you know this, that Mick Fleetwood wrote Sarah for Stevie Nicks.
Everybody was just obsessed with her.
Well, that was the record where they were all breaking up, and it's the only good song on it. It's actually did not make the album. Did they put it on Tusk or just release it?
Yeah.
But it was written during those sessions.
Oh, really? Interesting.
And that he was like that was when he said they couldn't have an affair. It's like this whole band's like everybody's fucking everybody. We need to stop fucking. That's the problem. Yeah, poor John McVie. He's like
he's fucking
when am I gonna get some?
You know who's not obsessed with Stevie Nicks? The Heartbreakers, because man, there's no girls in the Heartbreakers.
That's right. That's right. Tom laid it on the line there, man. No girls in the Heartbreakers.
That's right.
Today, he would be considered a toxic masculinator.
Mm-hmm. No girls allowed.
No women. You know that song by Extreme? He-Man, Woman Hater?
Oh, yeah.
I freaking love that song.
The He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah. No women allowed. And then that riff comes in, and it's just like, whoa.
Must have liked the Little Rascals.
I got it. Yeah. That's in the beginning. Isn't that the beginning of what song by Tough Guys by Ringo Starr by REO Speedwagon?
Not Ringo Starr. Ringo Speedwagon.
Ringo
there
Speedwagon.
You go.
REO Ringworm. It's going to be that kind of podcast, guys. So we're just kind of getting you prepped to do the thing. We're seeing if some people maybe will pop on live. We are doing our giveaway tonight.
Sweet.
Yay.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure Trilogy.
Da, da, da. For reasons because of the great soundtracks.
Officer Van Halen. Officer Van Halen. Dad, I'm over here, Dad. In the morning, you're going to military school, right? Like, how does that happen? He's just like... Like literally the next morning. There's no papers to fill out. There's no applications. Nothing. You're going right to military school first thing in the morning.
That's LINCOLN. I don't want to spell Lincoln.
Abe Blinken. Did you call me Abe Lincoln? No, I said Abe Blinken. What was it? Is that Men in Tights? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in Men in Tights. Okay, how's everybody doing? Are you done listening to us make pointless references to stupid movies?
But wait, there's more.
Yes, there's going to be all kind of shenanigans tonight because we're going to be giving away Bill and Ted's the trilogy. We ran a contest for new fans, and yeah, we got to do something for the old fans too. We got to work on that. I wanted to give away an album, but I had a mishap that you may have heard about, and that's got my brain whacked out. So we may do that in coming up the road, but we got to do something for the people that are on the thing. So keep you guys hanging on. So I think we are about ready. Let me grab the notes. Oh, so it's okay. What we're ready to go. Okay,
ready?
Maybe. Baby. Yes. Clear that throat. Drink that water.
Yeah. Hydrate.
You okay?
I'm burping.
Oh.
I just don't want to do it real loud.
I thought like you were like in a vomit. I'm like,
cool.
Look out, she's gonna hurl.
If you're gonna spew, I'll spew in this.
What's the movie? Oh, that's Wayne's World. I say if you have to hurl. If she comes back, that's great. That was kind of like the kind of Bill and Ted for like the next generation, right? Okay, guys, I think we're gonna attempt this thing called the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. You guys paid your money. We need to give you a good show, so we're just trying to. This is the opening act.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Lou and Company Act Like Morons.
Make sure you get your 2-drink minimum.
Actually, Lou acts like a moron, and Lily and Kevin try to
Well, I'd
get
rather
through
be
it.
moron than pissed off. Wait, that's wrong.
That's just wrong. That's downright wrong.
Wrong.
Stuck in the middle.
Cletus, Cletus, I'm telling you now, that's downright wrong. Okay, so check. We have levels. It feels a little hot, so hopefully it doesn't feedback. Lily and I are using different microphones. I've decided to experiment and see. Experiment.
Ooh.
This is not the one I've licked.
No.
What? Yeah, I bought that off of Lou.
That's why we don't have the microphone now. So, all right, guys,
Can't help
let's
myself.
get let's get the show on the road. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3. Many bands and artists have changed their sound in order to become more mainstream and get more success. It's an all too common, unfortunate, hazard of the music business, specifically the business side of it. However, there are those bands that have stuck to their guns since the beginning. They continued, in some cases are still continuing, to make the music that they want to make in the way that they want to make it. So on this week's Loudini Rock and Roll Circus, we're going to be telling you all about 10 bands who never compromised in order to sell out. Get ready to rock out with your talk out. It's the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Welcome back, everybody, moms and dads, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. My name is Lou Lombardi, a.k.a. Loudini, and I am your host for this cycle of mayhem that happens here at the circus every Tuesday. For those of you that tune in live on our Facebook broadcasts, YouTube and Twitch as well. And for the rest of the world, you'll be listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, places like that. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please go ahead and give us a 5-star and say something nice about us. iTunes is a sort of like the Google business, for podcasts. So if you can do good on iTunes, you're going to do good in podcasting. If you can make it there, you'll make it anywhere, as they say. So,
Or sing.
yeah, exactly. So, guys, that is something that would help us out. Also, want to give a shout out to a couple of sponsors. First, I want to shout out to Wolf's Customs, wolfscustoms.online. Get custom paint job done on your musical instrument of any type. Drums, guitars, basses, accordion, swinette, flugelhorn, whatever you have. Get a hold of Chris, Thunderwolf Dodson, at wolfscustoms.online, and they will hook you up. They do amazing work, and you are going to love it. Tell them Loudini sent you. Shout out to Rock Rage Radio. Go to rockrageradio.com. Download the app, and you can listen to great music 24/7. And coming up in about a week or so, I will be at Nashville Rock and Pod Expo in sunny Nashville, Tennessee, and Music City. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be presenting there along with a bunch of really other cool people. There's a lot of rock stars that are going to be there giving interviews, hanging out, signing autographs. There's a lot of cool memorabilia. You can get more information at NashvilleRockandPodExpo.com. And I'm going to turn it over now to one of the other folks here while I make a few adjustments.
So you're super bored with talking now already?
Yes, I'm done talking.
Wow.
Well, my show is Hot Weeks with Lily 6 on Rock Rage Radio Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and I do have a cool interview this week with the progressive metal band Demi Ara, so check them out. It's female-fronted and super nice girl, and the whole band was super fun, and you'll love their music if you do love progressive metal.
Yes. Cool. Good. And guys, also, I'm going to be doing something kind of interesting. I'm going to a concert
Dun, dun.
Yes,
I already knew that.
I know. I'm going to a concert. I don't even know where this concert is. I'm so busy with everything going on in my life with dealing with it, you know.
It's Charlie.
Yeah. Is it?
Yes.
I have no idea what it was. I just found out.
Wow.
It is the Black Crows, and they're going to be doing the entire Shake Your Moneymaker tour. They're going to play the whole album. So we are looking forward to doing that.
That
Most
stuff.
excellent.
That most excellent. Be ye excellent to one another. And party on, dudes. Speaking of that, we're going to be giving this bad boy away. We have our Blu-ray that we did as a giveaway for new subscribers. If you want to know more about subscribing, go to LouLombardiMusic.com. Our website is LoudiniRockAndRollCircus.com. Either one is great. But we're giving away this 3-film collection: Bill and Ted Face the Music, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and of course the classic, the irrepressible Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
All good soundtracks as well.
Yes, all good soundtracks, of course. So that is something that y'all gonna want to check out. We're gonna be giving that away a little bit later on.
Okay.
All right, so we're talking about these bands that they didn't care.
I don't give.
They're just doing it. They're gonna do their thing. They're gonna do their thing, and that's all they're gonna do. And yeah, exactly. And it's encouraging when you sit down to do a list like this. It's encouraging because you realize there's more than you realize. I mean, there's more of those type of bands than you realize. There's way more than 10 actually.
Yeah.
So yes, young folks out there, you can make great music the way you want to make it and still get over people are interested in different stuff. It doesn't all have to be homogenized the same thing, blah blah blah. So I'm gonna go as usual. We're gonna start with Lily because she knows everything.
Well, I'm a woman. I think I know everything. So there's that. Yes, I am a female. I know you didn't know. Secret's out. Jig is up.
And the news is out. They finally found me. The renegade who had it made. Exactly.
My Aunt Cookie says hello.
Hi, Aunt Cookie.
Hello, my Aunt Cookie. Oh, Aunt Cookie. Oh,
Cookies are delicious.
Oh, here we
C
go.
is for
I
Aunt
should've
Cookie.
never
That's
said
good
that.
enough for me. C is for Aunt Cookie. That's good.
Anyway, the first one.
And Aunt Cookie just tuned out.
Goodbye, Aunt Cookie. Thank you so much for
She's
coming.
like, I've had enough.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Oh, you said Aunt Cookie. I thought you meant Aunt Cookie.
No.
Oh, sorry,
That
sorry.
would be yucky.
Aunt Cookie.
Oh,
Auntie.
no, they're
Aunt's Cookie.
No,
Is this your Aunt Cookie?
Now we've switched accents.
Hey, why not?
All right. Go ahead, Lily. We're sorry.
All right, so let's see what you can come up with there, Lily.
Well, the first one, and probably one of the most obvious ones, and is on my shirt, is the Ramones.
Yes.
American punk rock band formed in New York City, Queens, New York City. They're often cited as the first true punk rock group. Recognition of the band's importance built over the years, and they are now mentioned in many assessments of all-time great rock music. When they first burst onto the New York club scene, wow, I feel like I'm really...
Hey guys, hang on a minute here.
Okay.
We're having a technical difficulty. So I'm going to fix this problem. These microphones are not going to work for this. But you don't know until you try. You try something different. I was messing around with it this afternoon, and I thought it sounded really good. But when I think we get them all on at the same time.
It's too exciting.
It's too exciting.
It is. It's too exciting. So you guys just have a little BS section session. I don't want to restart the
Now I'm
video. I
glad I have
apologize.
my old mic.
Guys, go get something to drink. Grab a cup
Hey,
of
everybody,
coffee.
it's the Pittsburgh Kevin Show. How are you, everybody?
Smoke a doobie or something.
Oh, no.
For those of you not familiar with the Ramones, go ahead and look those up real quick.
Yeah.
So just give me a minute.
All right. Are we still? Are we still doing?
We're not recording.
Oh, okay.
We're just live.
We're live. Oh, I can say all kind of swear words now. Jarn it, heck, rats. Oh boy. Dag. Ooh. I thought you were a lady. Oh my. Take my wife, please. So this is where I should have written down some dad jokes.
No, you don't write them down. You should just know them. You're a dad.
Yeah, but I'm
Be ingrained into your brain.
old though, and they fall right out of my.
Saying that whole old thing.
Why I am? I'm 75 years old, Lily.
Yeah.
70, I was born in 19... See, I can't even do the math. All right. Lily has been disconnected. Therefore, you folks are listening to Pittsburgh Kevin. All right, Lily's back. Thank God. I ran out of stuff to say.
I'm here. Does everyone hear me?
Nice.
Okay, so go ahead.
Do you want me to continue with what I was saying?
No,
Oh, okay.
He doesn't have a mic
We're
yet.
going to talk.
I know we've prayed for this day. We've prayed for it, but no.
Bill Domino said, can't hear Lily, but Pittsburgh Kevin is loud and clear. And then he goes, that explains that. So, yeah.
Yep, there you go.
I'm talking into the microphone that I licked.
Yes, indeed, I'm talking.
There she is. You can hear me now.
Yay.
Good stuff.
All right.
So, I don't know how I'm going to edit this fucker, but it's gonna suck.
Beep.
You said
Be
it.
all kind of
You said
problems with Loudini.
You can do it. You're like the magical Loudini.
The magical Loudini.
Hence.
Make it appear.
It's Loudini. See, we need that.
Ho!
We need that. We
Right,
need
you are Loudini.
I need
The answer. The
Una mas.
answer is sis, boom, ba.
Ra-
Boom, ba.
Rah, rah.
And the question is, what does the sound of an exploding sheep?
Oh, wow.
That's what I remember from Johnny Carson.
I was going to say that sounds like an
That's
actual one.
yeah, that was an actual one.
I didn't really watch much of that because I was too young, but sometimes.
Why do you rub it in?
Well, because
Yeah,
I
I was,
like to see you cry.
I was 45 when I watched it.
Drink
back in
your
the
tears.
70s. Yeah, you drink my tears.
To stay young.
Drink your tears to stay young.
Yikes.
Okay, can any of you guys hear me?
Let
I
us
think that already sounds better.
let us know, Bill and
Yes,
Chris.
Bill, guys, help us out.
You're
Sorry
part
about
of the show
that.
tonight.
Yep, it was, yeah. We have to have the audience. You guys hearing me? Bill, say anything, brother. Just give me.
Stand by. We're waiting.
Stand by, Loudini. Hello, Loudini is on. Is Loudini
Yes,
on?
you're good. You're good.
People can hear the
Yay.
Loudini, the Deanie Lou.
Deanie Lou.
Deanie Lou, man. He Lou and Deanie and Deanie and Lewin. All right. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to count. They call me the count because I love to count things. We didn't record that. We should have.
Oh, man.
Okay. I'm going to count it in like we're starting over, but we're not starting over. We're going to. Where were you starting?
Ramones.
Okay.
Do you want me to just start the whole thing?
Start
Ramones?
start from there. That's what I'm going to count it in. Check 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 1 2. Here we go. Lily, say something again.
Something again.
Kevin, say something.
Something?
It's always those quiet ones in the
What do
corner.
you mean?
There we are. Okay, here we go. In 5, 4, 3.
Alrighty, so the first pick on my list is the Ramones, as my shirt. American punk rock band that formed in New York City, Queens to be specific. Often cited as the first true punk rock group. Recognition of the band's importance built over the years, and they are now mentioned in many assessments of all-time great rock music. When they first burst onto the New York club scene, change was in the air. After years of getting bogged down by prog rock and heavy metal, these 4 street rats from Manhattan took rock and roll back to its roots with 3 chord jams that would go on to kickstart the punk rock movement. So that means these guys were left with big rock star mansions like all the other classic rock bands, right? Not so much. That's not really their thing. Instead of moving into some ritzy territory and writing more lofty tracks, the Ramones always stuck to their guns when it came to writing rock songs that were short and to the point. I can't breathe. Contrary.
Take a breath.
I forgot to do that. Contrary to what many people believe, the actual sound of the band did change considerably over the years, with the band dipping their toes into everything from hard rock to pop and even heavy metal on some of their later works. They may have songs that are still played on the radio to this day, but the band used the rest of their career to build upon their momentum with any genre that suited them. Even if you're sick and tired of hearing Blitzkrieg Bop, the Ramones earned the distinction of getting heaps of praise from fans and deserving every bit of it. So they pretty much stuck to what they wanted to write.
Right.
Yes, there was some progression. Yes, there was some change, but it was basically just punk.
It was just punk.
It was just punk.
And see, that's the thing that we have to think about with these bands that we're exploring this evening or this afternoon, depending when you're listening. What is selling out and what is just we want to do something different.
Evolution.
You know, what is, you know, how do you?
Oh my, no, don't do that.
You know, how do you distinguish that, or how do you, you know, discern between the two? I think it has to do with the motivation, but then do you ever really know anybody's motivation? So we're just going to kind of let that brew in the background for you guys while we go ahead through this. Kevin, what do you got?
Well, I do want to add to Lily's Ramones.
Please.
Do you know where they got their surname Ramones?
You know what? I did read about it, but I did not mention it. So go ahead.
I actually have a little tidbit.
Please go ahead.
So apparently they were inspired by Paul McCartney, who would check into hotels using the pseudonym Paul Ramone. So they all became the Ramones. So I thought that was kind of
Even though that wasn't their last name.
It wasn't
What?
the last name, but
Magic.
It was
Yeah,
their last
right?
name.
No.
They're all related.
They were all brothers. It was a very big family.
It's a very big
Very
family.
big family. Well, they all kind of looked alike. They had
I
the-
mean,
the
they all had
hair,
the look.
The leather jackets. All right, so I'm going to go with your friend of mine, the late, great Thomas Earl Petty. What do you think of that, Lou?
Monsieur.
Go ahead.
Petit.
This is going to be open
You're
for
making him
discussion.
think.
So, no, not necessarily his music, but his dedication to the craft and his dedication to the fans never wavered, all the way up until the end. Tom Petty was born October 20th, 1950 in Gainesville, Florida. First band was the Epics, but much like the originals and the new originals, they thought that was kind of boring.
The originals and the new originals.
So they went with the name Mudcrutch.
I remember that.
Yes.
Great documentary out there, guys. If you've never seen it, it's really good.
Fantastic. Yes. Running Down the Dream.
Right.
Name of the documentary. Went to California. And,
California!
And the record company decided they wanted Tom as a solo artist. So this is where you could maybe argue he sold out, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
it's a
could
good
kind
thing.
of,
Whoa,
kind of.
dude.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Oh, it's Tom Petty, dude. I think we're going to have to, kick him off the list.
Hold on now. Hold on now, brother. So Tom ends up putting together a band of his own choosing, and they end up calling themselves the Heartbreakers. Now, this is where I think it really falls that he didn't sell out. He fought MCA to get his publishing rights back. Won, and matter of fact, he not only won his publishing back, they actually gave him his own record label. So that was kind of cool. Again, a little bit later on, he fought MCA again because MCA decided, since he was such a big star, that they were going to increase record prices from $8.99 to $9.99, and they were going to do it starting with his album. Well, Tom wasn't too happy with that. He said no. He absolutely refused. He didn't want to screw over his fans. So again, MCA kind of buckled, and his album was not
Like a
the first
belt.
one.
He buckled like a
The
belt.
belt.
I tell
Right.
you, he
Right.
buckled like a belt.
Why do we always become Cockney British every time we do
Courtney,
this show?
you said the C word right on my podcast.
Oh, it could get much worse than that.
I
I
was just
assure
going
you.
to say, well, I meant him. Anyway, that album was Hard Promises.
Kev,
Yeah.
brother, in
Yeah.
the microphone.
Oh, I am. Well, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, please.
I'm not a professional like you guys is. But even in the end, unfortunately, October 2nd, 2017, Tom was found unresponsive. He died from a fatal mix of pain meds, sedatives, and antidepressants. The pain meds were for a hip fracture. He had fractured his hip, but he was putting off surgery because he wanted to finish the tour for his crew and his fans. And unfortunately, it led to his demise. So that's where I was coming from with Tom.
No, I was. You're absolutely right, and I did not realize. Nobody is. So we all to get in situations like where we have to make really tough choices,
Yes.
and most of us, luckily, that choice is between us and the few people that know us, and that's that. When you're a rock star, that choice can come out, and lots of people can judge you for it. And the situation with Mudcrutch, boy, but he did reunite Mudcrutch.
He did. Yes.
And they put out an album, and I thought that was
Okay.
Very, very cool. In terms of not selling out, that's the kind of record that like I don't know whose record label was at that time, but that's the kind of record that like you would go to your record label and say, look, I was in a bar band with these guys and they couldn't cut it in California. So, the record label picked me all of many years ago. Now I'm going to do a record with them. And they're going to be, what? They don't know any of these guys. It's like, it would be a tough sell. And if anybody could sell something like that, it'd be Tom Petty.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he's the kind of guy that could convince them to let him do something. It's just good. Because Tom Petty was in it. It did get some songs a couple songs on the radio. I remember when it came out, and I was like, "Good for you, Mudcrutch."
Did you say it out loud?
There's so many people that did really shitty stuff that you don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know any other rock star that went and got this is the cover band that I left behind and I'm going to do a record with them. Like, do you know, are there any other? I've never heard of anybody else doing that.
It's not a common thing for sure.
So if you want to he kind of puts the eye in integrity with something like that, and the way he stood up for the album prices. I remember that was a big story. I remember that was a current story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could dig Tom Petty. I think this is an example too, even musically. I think this is an example of a guy who did want to explore different stuff. There's some great songs from the 80s that have terrible keyboard sounds on them. They're embarrassingly bad. It's there's a couple of these different keyboard patches that were really popular, and they're on a million things. One of the things I'm thinking about is that artificial flute thing that's at the beginning of Clapton's redo of After Midnight. Do, 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 you know what I mean? And that sound is on a million things from that era, and it's just grates on your freaking nerves.
It pierces his brain.
And Tom Petty, he had an 80s era where he experimented with, where he had stuff like that in it. Although nothing that grates on your nerves, because Tom is just amazing. He's Tom. So even when he was doing stuff like that, he retained the Tom Pettiness of it. It was never well, you have to write songs about this or that. He adapted to the frickin' MTV age like that, man. They just knew how to fit him in, and he was able to really appeal to a really wide audience with what he was doing. People like us who are real rock and rollers really liked him, but he had big hit songs, so people who were just like his songs because they liked pop music really enjoyed him as well. And he never really felt like he was pandering to either one, did he?
No.
I just don't get that from him. It just seems he just
did his thing.
I tell you what, man, I don't know who the rest of you guys have on your list, but dang, if that guy might not even be number one. It's pretty freaking impressive. It's the definition of what we're talking about tonight. This next band, it broke my heart because I haven't looked at their Wikipedia page since 2019. And in early 2020, Neil Peart died. So the page used to say, Rush is a Canadian rock band.
Right.
Now it says Rush was a Canadian rock band. And that
stings.
That's gets you right in the feels.
Do you need a tissue?
No. Oh, no, not for that. Okay. Rush, a Canadian rock band formed in 1968. Oh, man. Geddy Lee, of course. Do we have to say who Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson were?
No.
Neil Peart on drums, but the trio did not start out, by the way, with Neil Peart. Neil Peart replaced John Rutsey. John had health problems. This was this is going to be a kind of mud crutch kind of situation. Except they never brought Rutsey back, but he had health problems, and there was just these guys were going places. They put out that Working Man got on WMMR in Cleveland. And people were calling up That's the new Led Zeppelin. Play that again. No, it's a band called Rush. And so they really exploded. And I don't think that they even expected any of that. They're all, if you ever seen any interviews or know anything about these three gentlemen, they're all kind of unassuming,
right?
Kind of anti-rock stars. You know what I mean? They're like music dorks. These are like the kids in the AV club, you know, who played guitar, you know, and
plaid pants.
Yeah.
But typically, those are the ones that are the best musicians.
Yeah. So, and so they have this giant success, and they just got to leave John behind. He's just not going to cut it because he's not physically well. But they get Neil Peart, and the rest, you know, sort of like just history. Achieved commercial success in the 70s with several albums, including Fly By Night, 2112, A Farewell to Kings, Hemispheres. The band's rise in popularity continued through the 80s and 90s, with some albums charting highly in both Canada and the U.S., including Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures, which is a seminal album for me, Signals, and Counterparts. Rush continued to record and perform until 1997, after which the band entered a 4-year hiatus due to personal tragedies in Neil Peart's life. The trio regrouped in 2001 and released 3 more studio albums: Vapor Trail, Snakes and Arrows, and Clockwork Angels. I saw the Snakes and Arrows tour. Did you were at that tour? Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the one. Yeah.
Yeah. And fantastic show. Rush ceased large-scale touring at the end of 2015, and Lifeson announced in January 18 the band would not continue. In 2000, on January 7, 2020, Peart died of a type of brain cancer, age of 67. Rush is known for its musicianship, complex compositions, and eclectic lyrical motifs, drawing heavily on science fiction, fantasy, and philosophy. Ayn Rand. The band's style changed over the years from blues-inspired hard rock in the beginning, later moving to progressive rock, then a period marked by heavy use of synthesizers, before returning to guitar-driven hard rock since the end of the 1980s. The members of Rush have been acknowledged as some of the most proficient players on their respective instruments, with each winning numerous awards in magazines' reader polls. Rush ranks 88th in the U.S. with sales of 25 million albums, and industry sources estimate their total worldwide album sales over 40 million as of 2005. Rush has been awarded 14 platinum, 3 multi-platinum albums in the U.S., plus 17 platinum albums in Canada. Rush was nominated for 7 Grammy Awards, won several Juno Awards, that's the Canadian version of the Grammys, and won an International Achievement Award in 2009, SOCAN Award. The band was inducted in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame in 94, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. I still don't understand what Alex Lifeson was doing with his acceptance speech.
Blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
blah.
But Rush, and this is a band that like just kind of wandered around, and people just kind of left them alone because they knew that like there was going to be like there was those fans that were just going to buy every Rush album. It didn't matter. They just had
super fans.
Yeah, they just had to have every Rush album. It was just and it was like kind of a growing audience. You know, stylistically, it was. It's all great. I think their music sounded, especially those last 3 albums. With the Snakes and Arrows, Clockwork Angels, and what was the one before it?
Vapor Trails.
Vapor Trails.
Very good.
I think that those albums are kind of timeless in the way that they don't really sound like alternative rock. They don't really sound like regular, you know, classic hard rock. They don't sound like metal. It's got like a really kind of like.
It just sounds like Rush.
It just sounds like Rush, and it sounds really good. So they can kind of sneak in wherever, and really where they excelled was the concert. I mean, they just were packing these places. I mean, people like up until the very end. I'm sure if Neil Peart was alive and everything, and post-pandemic, they'd be like planning the next tour. They'd be like, you know, shit, we got to go back out because we can't like not play after all this, you know. So you know, they might be limited, but I'm sure that they would go out and do. And you know, if you've never seen them live, man, you missed a good show. It was they put on a hell of a show, and they just. it just resonates. People know all the lyrics. I mean, this isn't like I'm all about that bass,
Oh, please stop singing
it
that.
It isn't that.
This
You
is
know what I mean?
thought-provoking
These are,
lyrics.
this is like a lot of words.
There's more than 2 words.
And like it's mostly white people. Black people are good with a lot of words because they got that rap thing, man, and they could like could
Freestyle.
spout- yeah, I mean, I was around a group of African American folks a couple days ago, and they were listening to hip hop stuff, and their words were flying by,
Yeah,
man. They were
yeah.
right on it. So white people, we trip over that stuff.
Yeah.
So you need to be congratulated if you could sing every Rush word.
Yes.
Because they were wordy.
They were very wordy. They're a very
Quite
wordy
wordy.
band. So I can't really see them. I mean, I can't know of anything they ever did that was. I mean, they were more than willing to like goof on themselves. There's great like later on TV interviews with them where they were like very cool about
Their garb.
Yeah.
Their garb back in the day, the kimonos.
Yeah, I mean, they were very happy to kind of like, be
fun at
take it on
themselves.
the chin a little bit and everything.
Yeah.
So I would, I think they definitely deserve to be on this list right
Did
here.
not sell out.
So far, I think that everybody, I think you're right about the Ramones, Lily, Kevin with Tom Petty and Rush. I think that, I think so far, like I can get with what everybody's laying down. Do the audience have any?
Audience.
Let's see if the audience has anything other than talking amongst themselves. Chris Thunderwolf Dotson says hello from Raven and himself. Bill Damiano's watching. Todd Kane is in the house. Tracy Sampson is watching. Bill Damiano and Chris are talking
Oh, I'm glad.
to each other. And that is it. So nobody actually suggested anything that I see.
Okay.
So there's that.
All right then. So then let's go back to Lily.
So I'm going to go super heavy
Super heavy.
with Cannibal Corpse. They are the best-selling death metal band, American death metal band of all time, formed in Buffalo,
You
New
don't
York.
say.
I do say.
You don't say.
Formed in Buffalo,
Bloody hell.
New York in 1988. I was 7, just so I can rub that in. They are now based out of Tampa, Florida. The band has released 15 studio albums, 2 box sets, 4 video albums, and 2 live albums. The band has had little radio or television exposure throughout its career. Can't imagine why. Although a cult following began to build with releases of their early albums, including Butchered at Birth and Tomb of the Mutilated. Cannibal Corpse's lyrics and albums and T-shirt artwork frequently feature transgressive and macabre imagery, including depictions of extreme violence and gore, and the band has always defended this as artistic expression that is clearly fictional.
Sure.
Some might argue that the death metal pioneers sold out by appearing in Ace Ventura, but the band never stopped playing their own monster in that infamous scene. Jim Carrey basically wanted them to be in the movie because it is one of his favorite bands. It was either them or Napalm Death. He was picking one of the two. They didn't change their music style after appearing on the big screen. The next album included a song named, and I'm going to swear, everybody ready, Fucked with a Knife. Even as they've become bigger and more famous, the Kings of Gore have never wavered from their themes of violent, perverse murder, which is why we'll always love them. As one of the top-selling American death metal bands of all time, not changing your sound, pretty much doing what they want as far as imagery goes, I think they deserve to be on the list.
Birth is always painful. Decaying in the womb, trapped within this body. A bleeding human tomb, gutted bitch lies, dead, emptied of the child. Chewing on the cords, its lifeline to this world. Afterbirth is flowing, the stench is overwhelming. My body growing stronger, my pain turns to torture. Severing its bloodline. Butchered infant carcass meat from the unborn, the freshest skills. Chopped up children bathing in blood, contoured and festering. I rot in disgust. Did I do it right?
You
was
did pretty good.
It's like, so I started out in one way and I ended up on another thing. That is just a little bit of Cannibal Corpse for you.
Wow.
For the metal fans.
So I mean, if they
Heavy
can
metal
like put out lyrics like that and just go and people love it.
So romantic.
They don't ever have to. Yeah, I mean, that's about as
Take your
uncompromised.
date.
Where's the great line? Carnage is my fetish.
I like zombification, ejaculation over mutilation.
Wow.
Wow,
That's a mouthful.
zombification, ejaculation. Is that? Never mind. We go down a total rabbit hole on that.
We could totally do that.
Crushing cartilage. There's a band name.
They're actually just
crushing cartilage.
and they're actually just regular guys.
Yeah, I'm headed down to Costco. I need toilet paper.
That's pretty much it.
Probably.
From One Wipe Charlie's.
Costco's where they get their best work. I mean,
Sure.
inspiration there.
God. Oh, wow, you guys are crazy.
Hammer smash face.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, who's next? Kevin?
I'll go. Hey, what do you guys think about Motorhead?
I love Motorhead.
I would definitely
You
say
got
that,
Motorhead?
too.
All right, good.
Lemmy,
yeah.
like even just say Lemmy.
He's a
you could do that.
nice boy. Formed June of 1975 by bassist Ian. You know him better as Lemmy Kilmister. It's considered the precursor to the new wave of British heavy metal. Listen to this shit. They released 22 studio albums, 10 live recordings, 12 compilation albums, and 5 EPs. Wow.
Ouch.
I mean, you know, not as good as Wilson Phillips, but pretty damn close. Unfortunately, band ceased to exist after Lemmy passed away on December 28th, 2015. Lily, you're the knower of many things. What's the place that has the seat that Lemmy used to?
Oh, that
the
is
Rainbow?
the Rainbow, where
Yeah.
you can have. There's the Lemmy section where you
That's
can sit there
awesome.
and where he dined and
Yes,
played his
yes.
video games in his little
Drank
shorty
his
shorts.
Jack.
Yes,
Yeah, and his little tiny shorty
and he wore his
shorts.
shorty shorts there.
Ew.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's cool. They still have that there in memory of him.
Yeah,
Like,
I
that's
believe
very
there's a
cool.
plaque there now.
Yes,
too, so you can get a picture with it.
Sure.
So yeah,
Maybe a little poker. Did it have the poker game there for him too?
there. I believe that's still there. It's not
Yeah.
in the section with all his other stuff, but it was on.
okay.
You know, they're on the
Yeah,
bars. They
yeah,
are.
on the bars. Yeah,
You know.
very cool. But yes,
Cool.
He built up the reputation of playing to no one but himself. That is how he
Good for
felt.
him.
So that is why he is not a sellout. Because
Yeah.
he didn't give an F.
Well, you know, I was was it Jim Florentine? Who's the other guy on that metal show? Not Eddie Trunk.
Oh gosh, this is the guy I never remembered.
sorry,
It's
dude.
horrible.
I think it was him.
Sorry.
I heard him talking about being backstage. It might have been Florentine. It was one of those guys being backstage. Like 2 weeks or so before Lemmy passed away, and he was still touring. And they said backstage you could tell like he was
He
really
was slowing down. Yeah.
But I said the second he walked on stage and those lights came up, he sounded like Lemmy.
Don
He was-
Jameson.
Don Jameson. I'm sorry. I think it might have been Don Jameson. Yeah, I mean he was like, no freaking compromise. I'm just gonna
No,
do
it's-
whatever.
yeah.
I mean, you know, just like there will never be another guy like Lemmy. I mean, you know, he was just he was like the consummate rock and roller, no matter like how old he got.
As much as the band has changed members, he was the constant member, and
Yeah.
he played
Yeah,
for
he was
himself. He didn't
always
even
there,
care
yeah.
who
And
was in
he
the band.
and he was I mean he's become like a rock icon. You know what I mean? He's not. He's like Ozzy. You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys that are just like, oh, that's the epitome of that thing. And
And he was the editor of his school newspaper.
really?
No, that's from a movie, Airheads.
Oh.
He's in Airheads, and he says that.
Oh, okay. Oh,
oh man. So we would
Sorry,
have believed
I'm-
it. You just.
but I
People
mean,
know
he
the
was.
movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he like drank a fifth of Jack a day.
Oh yeah.
You know, basically lived at strip clubs, had 6 girlfriends. I mean, just like, there's just never going to be another guy like that.
Lemmy Kilmister, you're my hero.
Well, people frown upon that stuff now, so there's that.
Yeah, I guess he was the picture of toxic masculinity. Yeah, there's a great documentary too about him. So if you guys can find it, check it out. Well, it's everywhere. Here's a band that is
I almost put this.
uncompromising for kind of a different reason. When I was really getting into writing and recording and releasing original music with bands and stuff like that, these guys were the sort of poster children for what you could do as an independent band with no record label support. I mean, these guys and Ani DeFranco were the sort of like trailblazers in truly, there's a lot of people that say indie. These guys are truly an independent rock band, and it's Fugazi, American post-hardcore band formed in Washington, D.C. in 1986. The band consists of guitarists, vocalists Ian McKay, Guy Picciotto, bassist Joe Lally, and Brendan Canty. They are noted for their style transcending music, DIY ethical stance, manner of business practice, and contempt for the music industry. Fugazi has performed numerous worldwide tours and produced 6 studio albums, a film, and a comprehensive live series, gaining the band critical acclaim and success around the world, highly influential on punk and alternative music. The band has been indefinite hiatus, since 2003. So these guys did something that was. Now, you got to remember, this is pre-internet, okay? There was no, just, put up a Facebook page.
I sort of hate when you have to say that, but yeah, I get it.
I mean, this was, they achieved great success without having any record label support. There was no internet. I believe they started, yeah, there were CDs around, but it was still heavily in the cassette and vinyl era going on as well. Created all their own merchandise, did all their own marketing. It was like a family business. Their brothers and sisters and girlfriends and wives and everything like that. Everybody chipped in. It was kind of like everybody became part of the Fugazi industry. And they were able to go out and tour, do big shows with virtually no support. Nobody was really, and they played, so they could play whatever music they wanted. They could just do whatever the hell they wanted. It didn't matter.
Screw you guys.
Yeah. They could just, there was no reason for them to, nobody saying, well, if you guys did this with you, because nobody wanted to sign them anyways. They were just doing their thing. I shouldn't say that. Haven't read the entire biography of Fugazi. There may have been opportunities for them to do that. But in general, for what they were doing, the type of music they do, they call them post-hardcore, but Fugazi is a kind of band that's really hard to pigeonhole. I mean, their music is not, you know what I mean? I don't know.
It's not defined.
Somebody wants to type in the group chat and say what they think Fugazi is. Sure, I'll take it.
We'll believe you.
I'll believe you.
Yeah. Okay.
So that would be on my list for sure is Fugazi. Just those guys are we're just doing our own thing. You go do whatever you want. We're doing our thing. It didn't matter. So, we are going to take a second here, and first of all, shout out to Wolf's Customs. Go to wolfscustoms.online, get a custom paint job done on your musical instrument. RockRageRadio.com, check them out. LouLombardiMusic.com to get on the list to win the cool thing I'm going to talk about here in a second. And Rock Rage Radio, I said that. So we did a little contest. Just a little little contest. For our, we're just running different promotions. We're trying to grow our community, and
which means you get free stuff.
Yeah, which means you get free stuff. So you definitely want to check it out. So you'll see our stuff around the internet. Click on it, and don't forget, if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star and a nice little comment there. But today's prize. It's a 3-film Blu-ray collection, Bill and Ted Face the Music, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and, of course, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. We have a winner for that. Lily, have you seen the Bill and Ted movies?
The first one, because I don't like them.
You know, okay.
I only like the soundtracks.
How did you? What was the first time you? So when did you see it?
Probably right around when it came out, I would assume. It's been that long.
Did somebody, like a boyfriend or somebody, take you to the movies? Or?
Oh, I didn't go to the movies. I just saw it at home. But
You just watched on TV.
Yeah.
TNT or something.
Something, or HBO, whatever it is, because we had all the fancy channels. But yeah, I'm just sorry. I just think they're morons. I know guys love this movie. It's a great movie. Actually, there are girls that love this movie too. I think the soundtracks are fantastic, which is why I like the movies.
Okay. And Kevin.
I remember
seeing it?
I remember seeing the trailer in the theater. A friend and I went to see another movie in this weird, and there's guys, and they're in a phone booth, and there's Napoleon, and we looked at each other. We're like, we need to see this movie. It was just so intriguing. And of course, we went and saw it, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, or whoa.
Super popular movies.
Yeah. I do not. I've seen this movie so many times.
Yeah.
And I've had it in so many different formats.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first time I saw it. I just remember it's like Bill and Ted has always been in my life.
Yes.
I don't. This seems like something I would have gone to see with Eric Waggett.
Exactly.
You probably
it
did.
seems like something he and I maybe went to see together, but I don't. I don't remember. But I've just never not remembered this movie. There's just certain movies like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, it's always been out. So the person that's going to get to view this collection as often as they would like on Blu-ray.
Do you have the random generator?
Well, it's already been generated. We got our number here.
I wanted to do the little.
You did it. So there it is.
That's it. Is
all right, go ahead. I'm
I did see you guys. I don't care. The winner is David B. Miller. So, David, congratulations.
Awesome.
We'll be getting in touch with you. We'll get this sent out to you right away.
Excellent.
And you will probably also see some Loudini swag showing up in your mailbox as well.
Don't forget the song Two Heads Are Better Than One by Power Tool is on the first movie, which is the Nelson Brothers.
And was the original theme to the Loudini Rock Roll Circus
right,
podcast.
back in the day. Back before you were born, Lily.
But we'll be getting in touch with you to if we don't already have your physical address to get everything sent out to
Congratulations.
So congrats, yo.
Enjoy.
Congratulations. Okay, so we are going to continue on with our discussion on these bands that are just refuse to compromise. They're like stubborn. They're like a pain in the ass.
Ow.
It's like, why won't you try something different? No, we don't know what we want. That's rock and rollers for you, just children.
Yeah, they're
just big freaking babies. But we love them.
Hey, what did you
It's only rock and roll, but I like it.
Come on, Lily. Don't
But I
Oh,
love,
no, you didn't.
but I love you guys. But I love you guys,
Yeah.
regardless.
Do you?
You guys are crazy, man.
or something.
Okay, so what you got, Lily? Come on. Don't make me wait. You're teasing me.
I put a band on here that I don't necessarily like, but they do belong on the list. And Rush is not the band because Lou already said it. It's Nirvana.
Oh, all right.
American rock band formed in Aberdeen, Washington in 1987.
Aberdeen, Washington. Yeehaw, salute my hometown.
I was 5 years old. Founded by lead singer and guitarist Kurt Cobain and bassist Chris Novoselic, the band went through a succession of drummers before recruiting Dave Grohl in 1990.
Dave Grohl.
Nirvana's success popularized alternative rock, and they were often referenced as the figurehead band of Gen X. Their music maintains a popular following and continues to influence modern rock and roll culture. After the monument,
Rock and roll.
and roll.
And
There's
roll.
rock culture and roll culture.
There's two different
Both
kinds.
kind of music.
After the monumental success of Nevermind, Nirvana could have easily released a candy-coated pop rock record and welcomed universal praise. The band's first record, Bleach, was pure grunge, with Cobain writing what songs that sounded like the Beatles being fed through a punk amplifier. Even when the label was set on getting Nirvana in a studio with a big-budget producer, the band hooked up with indie legend Steve Albini and produced the Blemish masterpiece In Utero, which was probably the most visceral recording to ever reach the top of the charts at the time. Featuring a song named Rape Me and a cover that could have been used for a Carcass album. Though the band eventually crossed over with Nevermind, the sudden jolt of fame led to Cobain running far away from the more superficial aspects of celebrity culture. Ever since Nirvana started, Kurt Cobain has always had a particular distaste for the mainstream, although he loved the pop acts of old. From Cheap Trick to the Beatles, Cobain always felt the need to run away from the bands that seemed too inauthentic. Though fans may have been aching to hear what the new Nirvana sound would be going forward, the rude awakening came when Cobain was found dead in his home of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Bullshit. The world of rock still lives in the shadow of Cobain's work, but Nirvana's back catalog is a true testament of artists who refuse to compromise their musical vision. And I think, what I've heard, and I'm a little afraid to see what you're going to be pushing there. What I've read is the reason he did end up killing himself, quote unquote, is that he didn't want to sell himself out.
Too soon? Too soon?
Wow.
Say it again, Lily. I won't play a sound effect. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Say it again, because I think it was what you said was really important, and I've made a goof over. The reason he killed himself is because he didn't want.
The reason that what I've read is the reason he killed himself is he did not want to succumb to the, wow, I lost it. Mainstream rock. Why can't I?
Right.
To selling out.
He didn't want to sell out.
What we're talking about. Yeah.
Exactly what we're talking about.
My whole brain went away.
That is, boy. Wow. I mean, if you wanted to say, I'm not going to sell out to the extreme.
He wins.
Yeah.
He kind of wins. I mean, I'm sorry, we might have to put Tom Petty down.
No.
We might have to say,
Just
we might have to put Kurt
No,
Cobain.
Lou, he did not commit suicide. You know who killed him?
His wife.
That's right, Courtney Cox.
No.
Courtney Cox did it.
Love.
She got right down off that stage with Bruce Springsteen, went right over to Kurt Cobain's house and shot him. Courtney Cox. Her and her friends.
And we're done. With her little butch haircut.
Oh, you guys are freaking crazy.
You love us. Oh boy. I don't even know what that was.
That's Courtney Cox.
That's what she sounds like now.
Uh-huh.
Courtney Cox did not, for the record, did not kill Kurt Cobain.
No?
No.
Legal disclaimer. Courtney Cox did not.
Officially, he killed himself.
Celebrity voice impersonator.
Yes,
Unofficially, Courtney Love had him killed.
What? You know what we really need?
That sentence just terrifies me.
Everybody,
that question.
Did you get now? I know. Look, man, I can't ignore my roots. Love Howard Stern. What we need though is you remember he would have evil David Letterman.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need somebody who can do a celebrity voice really good and just say the most crazy crap. We need.
Why are you looking at me?
You do all the voices.
Kevin does good voices.
I know. I'm afraid I'll get in trouble.
I don't want to get in trouble. I'm in
That's
trouble. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, we could probably have some people come in. I'm just saying.
You're trying to get me in trouble.
I've got phone numbers.
Do any of your relatives say trouble?
No.
Trouble?
Trouble.
You in trouble.
You in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of your relatives say accordion?
No.
Okay.
Opposed
Opposed.
do what you're supposed to do.
I do what you're supposed to do.
There you go.
Yep.
That's Pittsburghese.
Yeah. So speaking of Pittsburghese, Pittsburgh Kevin.
Yeah.
What do you got?
You guys, I told you what I got. Courtney Cox killed him.
That's what he has. And there it be.
Wow, Courtney Cox is on the list?
Yeah, Courtney Cox.
Cockney Courts.
her
We don't.
and Phoebe.
Phoebe.
Phoebe. Now we've covered all the ones that I had. You know, here's just an honorable mention, which I thought was interesting because I did a little research today. But one name came up a couple of times, and that was your friend of mine, Gigi Allen.
Well, that would be true. That would be true.
Boy, and kids,
he would.
Kids at home, if you don't know who Gigi Allen is,
Why do I have to be punished and talk about Gigi Allen?
well, I would say look him up, but
really don't. You're
don't.
doing yourself a favor
You
to
would have
not
to be a
look this up.
hardcore researcher into this field to look that up. And
You
it's
will hate your
very
whole
interesting.
life.
Yeah.
Nah.
But no, seriously.
But truth,
Yeah.
that his whole thing was
Mm-hmm.
not going against or not going with anything that anybody did. He
At
went
all.
completely against the grain.
Anything.
He threw shit on stage, pissed on himself,
Sure.
cut himself. He's a freak.
Okay, I'm gonna do. Lily, do you have any others before I do one more?
I also have Typo Negative.
Throw them on.
American Gothic metal band formed in Brooklyn, New York, 1989 by Peter Steele. Kenny
Rest in
Hickey,
peace.
Josh Silver, and Saul Abruscato, who was later replaced by Johnny Kelly. The lyrical emphasis on themes of romance, depression, and death resulted in the nickname the Drab Four, an homage to the Beatles' Fab Four moniker. The band was platinum with 1993's Bloody Kisses and gold with the 1996 October Rust.
Awesome record.
And gained a fan base through 7 studio albums.
That was a good makeout album too.
Well, all of them are, because his voice is amazing. 2 best of compilations and concert DVDs. They stuck to the themes and didn't stray from the styles too far, other than maybe picking up the pace a bit or shortening the songs. Steele was a brooding goth, and we liked him that way, and he had one of the most unique voices in metal music. He died on April 14, 2010 at the age of 48. Go ahead. Some sources report the cause of death as heart failure brought on by aortic aneurysm, while others list sepsis caused by diverticulitis. Hickey and Kelly stated in November 2010 interview that with French music magazine Rock Hard that Typo Negative had broken up following Steele's death. Now, if you break up your band because your singer died, that's
usually
that's not
that's
selling out.
Yeah,
that is,
that's not. Yeah.
That is, we're done. We're not going to continue this and water it down like a lot of bands do. And we talked about that earlier.
I got one question. On the day he passed away, where the hell was Courtney Cox?
She's probably on an episode of Friends.
She was injecting the sepsis into him.
Sepsis.
Because apparently she's a very diabolical person.
She just walks around trying to, what rock star can I kill next? Good ones. I am not going to do
The Beatles?
I'm not gonna. I'm
What
gonna
did they do
the
on this
Beatles.
day?
I did all the Beatles.
Yeah, you did.
I'm gonna give. Okay, I'll just do like an honorable mention. I'm gonna get too far because I want to do this day in music. Tool.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, these are guys that they kind of just release a record whenever the hell they feel like it. They're on no schedule. They tour when they feel like it. They just kind of do whatever they want to do. And boy, it's just a whole package between the what they do with the visuals and what they do with the music. Kind of creating again, they're a hard band to pigeonhole because like metal people like them, alternative people like them, your rock and rollers like them. They have that because it's just sort of floating around in this thing, but they're their own thing, and people recognize that. And I think that is a sort of kind of what this whole show is about. Is that it isn't always about kissing the most ass or being the best looking or whatever. There is that segment of the population that does want to hear something cool. Can you just make something cool? Sometimes that's like, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's just like all you need to do. Just make something cool. And I think this is true of the band Tool. Absolutely. That they're just like, we're just going to do something. We're just make some good music. This is kind of just what we feel. And, there is amazing musicianship in that band. This is one of those bands that gets compared to Rush as a sort of kind of like a next generation of, kind of what Rush is doing with mixed meters and, the different, because the drums and the bass and the guitar, the way they're all kind of interacting are kind of getting into that territory rhythmically and harmonically. Of course, they don't sound anything like Rush, but they have that sort of bringing that progressive thing in a way that was also very, very accessible with songs that just got played on the radio and, of course, on MTV, rest in peace. So, and, they never did what? Did they ever do anything like cheesy, like a Doublemint gum commercial? Or
No. God, no.
Have any of their songs ever been released? I mean, like the song Sober, I'm sure there's alcohol companies or something that would love.
The cheesiest thing Maynard ever did was sell wine and sign the bottles. That's probably the cheesiest thing he's ever done.
Okay.
And I'm not even a fan of Tool, but they do belong on the list.
Yeah.
So.
It's a, really, dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they ain't playing. None of these bands are playing. These are all like in rock. I mean, these are the guys that are like really stand out. The Ramones, Tom Petty, Rush. I have shaky leg syndrome. Cannibal Corpse, Motorhead, Fugazi, Nirvana, Typo Negative, Tool. all bands that just gave us great music without trying to pander to us. You don't need to pander to us. Just make good music. So let's do real quick before we get out of here. Let's do a little bit of This Day in Music.
Let's do that.
Just because the Beatles had to second on the list.
Oh,
Second
there
on
you
the
go.
list. In 1958, rock and roll. Fans of rock and roll music were warned that tuning into music on the car radio could cost you more money. Researchers from the Esso Gas Company said that the rhythm of rock and roll could cause the driver to be foot heavy on the pedal, making them waste fuel.
Huh.
So
I mean, that's legit, though.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
I do that all the time.
The Beatles played the last night of a 6-night run at the Odeon Cinema Westin Super. The Beatles spent the day with photographer Dezo Hoffman, who took photos of 8mm movies of the Beatles at their hotel on the beach, dressed in Victorian bathing suits and going go-karting.
That's hot.
Yes.
That's hot.
Oh my goodness, I don't really. Okay, in 1974, John Denver started a 2-week run at #1 on the U.S. singles chart with Annie's Song, the singer's second U.S. #1 song. The song was a tribute to his wife and was written in 10 minutes while he was on a ski lift. And this is why the marriage didn't last.
Yeah, but that's kind of amazing. I can't imagine sitting there writing a song in like 10 minutes.
It happens.
It doesn't happen
Yeah.
to me.
How many songs did you write?
I've written poems that could be songs.
Okay.
There you go.
You've written poems sitting places. Weird.
No, it takes me a hot second.
Hot second.
And this day in 1974, Wings, as in Paul McCartney and, started a 7-week run at #1 on the UK album chart with Band on the Run.
There you go.
Sales were modest initially. Its commercial performance was aided by 2 hit singles, Jet and Band on the Run, such that it became a top-selling studio album of '74 in the UK and Australia. In addition to revitalizing McCartney's critical standing, it remains McCartney's most successful album and the most celebrated of his post-Beatles works. Did not know that. On this day, okay, let's go. Like a little bit of women's right thing coming up right here. Tina Turner filed for divorce from her husband Ike, ending their violent 16-year marriage and successful musical partnership. That's a strange sentence.
Wow.
Violent 16-year marriage and successful musical partnership. You can't have one without the other.
No, apparently.
Okay, I don't want to read about that. On this day in 1985, it was a good year I graduated high school. Paul Young went to #1 on the U.S. singles chart with his version of the Daryl Hall song, Every Time You Go Away.
I wasn't born.
Also on this day in 1985, Eurythmics were at #1 on the UK singles chart with There Must Be an Angel, Playing With My Heart, the duo's only UK #1 single. The song featured harmonica solo by Stevie Wonder. It is not a song I am familiar with.
Yeah, really.
1986, Queen became the first Western act since Louis Armstrong in '64 to perform in Eastern Europe when they played at Budapest's Népstadion in Hungary. The gig was filmed and released as Queen Magic in Budapest.
Wow.
Cool stuff. 91, this day in 1991, Jesus Jones went to '2 on the U.S. album chart with Right Here, Right Now.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Unable to shift Bryan Adams's Everything I Do It For You from a 7-week stay at the #1 position.
I mean,
I saw a really interesting video this week about I'm not gonna say what it was about. It's a complicated story, but the guy mentioned the songs from mentioned the big albums that came out in '91. Nirvana's Nevermind, Metallica's Black Album, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, like these really important albums that, like, to this day people are listening to and rocking out to. But the #1 song of the year was this silly Bryan Adams song.
Oh.
So it just goes to show you that, like, just because something is popular doesn't mean it has staying power.
Right.
You know, we all know those records, but that this is a song that some people from the '80s might remember. It was I think people remember it mainly because it was the movie.
Yeah,
it was in
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah. 1992. 1992. Michael Jackson had to sue the British paper, the Daily Mirror. They're getting sued like every other day, though, right? Over photos and an article that said he was left a scar face from numerous plastic surgeries. The suit was later settled out of court.
So he basically was crying.
That's not true, Lou. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Tito,
Yes, Michael.
Tito, give me a tissue.
I can't even stand you.
We're not doing the Beatles again. The Beatles have to.
They need to stop.
We love the Beatles, but come on, calm down.
Now. Come on now.
James need to calm down and all that.
Beatles.
Oh, man, I'm just... Oh, Bobby Gentry. The day that Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. That Bobby Gentry. Happy birthday to Bobby Gentry.
Happy birthday.
Known as one of the first female country artists to compose and produce her own material, Gentry rose to international fame with her intriguing Southern Gothic narrative Ode to Billy Joe in '67. That was a great year. It was the year I was born. The track spent 4 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 3 million copies all over the world. That's
wow.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Her album Fancy brought her a Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance.
She's so fancy.
Yep. Maureen, she's so fancy.
She is.
Maureen McGovern.
Yes.
Happy birthday to Maureen McGovern, born this day in 1949.
Wow. Wow.
Do you know who Michael Vaughn was, Pittsburgh Kevin?
Michael Vaughn. No, I know Vince. I don't know Michael.
No relation to Stevie Ray or Jimmy Lee.
Right.
Mike, do you remember the song Billy Don't Be a Hero?
Wow. Yes, I
Michael
do.
Vaughn from Paper Lace, who scored the 1974 number one single Billy Don't Be a Hero. And
Yes. What else?
in 1974, the single The Night Chicago Died.
There you go.
Yep, Paper Lace.
No, 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 no.
I know. Crazy stuff.
You don't know that, Lily, because you weren't born yet.
I still know it.
Oh, okay. All right, then.
All right, then. And we're going to... a couple more here. Rex Brown, bassist with Pantera.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Did you guys... we're talking about bands that people would love to see reunite. Did you guys hear this thing that Rex Brown and Phil Anselmo are going to put together a group with Mike Portnoy and Zach Wild, and they're gonna do like a Pantera tribute.
As long as it's just a tribute and they don't call themselves Pantera, I'm okay with it.
Otherwise,
Otherwise, stop.
I
Go
know,
on tour
it's-
with Warrant and Quiet Riot.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, but in this case, the singer is still
Right,
Yeah.
but
Alive.
I mean, you're missing two really key components to that band.
yeah. I know, Vinny and Dimebag, Daryl. This is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl. I don't know how many of you will ever get that reference.
Newhart.
Oh, Lily gets it. That's all that matters.
Who's watching? Lily, can you tell me?
I can probably tell
While
you
you're
in
looking
a
that
second.
up, I also want to say happy birthday to Juliana Hatfield. And this is a guy that maybe a lot of you guys maybe know, maybe you don't, maybe a lot of you guys don't know. This is a kind of an indie-ish singer-songwriter, Pete Yorn, who has a great song, Life on a Chain, and I have a couple of his albums, and he's a amazing singer-songwriter, very cool guitar player. So if you don't know who Pete Yorn is, you should look him up. Born this day in 1974.
All the same people who were watching are the ones talking. Tracy Sampson, Bill Damiano, Chris Thunderwolf, Todd Kane.
We haven't
You guys
scared
are
anybody.
Dedicated.
Okay.
The people who love us.
All right, guys,
the most.
have a Lily V6. Go ahead and tell us about you've got a thing.
I do have a thing. It's my show is Hot Licks with Lily 6 Thursday nights on Rock Rage Radio, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Download the app for free on your phone or go to rockrageradio.com.
Yes.
Okay, and rockrageradio.com, as Lily said, LouLombardiMusic.com, and Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.com. Please patronize Wolf's Customs at wolfscustoms.online. And we're going to pick an awesome topic. Congratulations to David B. Miller for winning the Bill and Ted thing. We've got more cool giveaways and everything coming up for you guys, so stick around. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I want to tell you guys that I had got a request this week, and I'm gonna do the podcast anyways.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Okay, but Alec Gonzalez, who works with a radio station in Brazil, messaged me and said, "I really like your new song. Can you please send it to me because I want to play it."
Oh, that's fun.
For my audience. So
Congrats,
thank you so much, Alec. I was very flattered for it. So we're going to make sure that we push the song a little bit more. So we're going to play it as we get out of here today. So guys, have a great week. We'll catch you all on the next Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
Take my hand and walk through this door. I'm gonna